Here we go. It's the all-new Cruz Show.
Oh, yeah.
Power 106. So good to have this dude in the studio, man. Mike Shinoda is on the Cruz Show right now.
Greetings.
There he is. Oh, I know, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, how are you, man? How's life?
I'm good. I can't complain. How's yours?
Really good. Can't complain.
Fantastic.
You see what's happening here. You know
fantastic.
what I mean? Yeah, it's fantastic, man. It's amazing.
new. It's
amazing.
a little
Have
new.
you met everyone, by the way? That's Todd the Hater. Right?
He hates
Mike?
everything.
That's Crystal B.
Hi.
There she is. And you know Jeff G, the sports dude.
Yes, sir.
And I'm Jay Cruz.
There
Jake
he is.
Cruz.
What's going on?
A lot. Always a lot going on.
You didn't sleep last night too much, right? You've been working.
Yeah, we put out a song last night. We had this big like social media push that kind of like came to a close.
Yeah.
You know, we moved. Basically, I had this this track. So just to jump straight into it, I had this project called Fort Minor, which is like a solo project. It's a side project from Linkin Park.
Yes.
And whereas, like, you know, I'm still on the road with Linkin Park, still doing shows with Linkin Park. Everything's all good over there. But I just had this song. I wrote this song, and I went, oh, my God, this is not a Linkin Park song. And so long story, and it's been a long time since I did that. And so long story short, we, debuted it last night, and it's now out in the world. And it's been, it's exciting, man.
It's out. Yeah. And you're still nervous? It still feels new to you?
It feels like, the thing is, like, when I make a Linkin Park song, like, it usually has a certain feeling, like it has a certain sound and whatever, or at least with this song, it was something different. I knew it from the moment I made it. So, yeah, it was, I haven't done anything Fort Minor in a really long time, and it was an exciting.
It's been over, what, 10 years, Mike?
It's been 10 years.
Wow.
Jesus, Mike. Jesus.
Yeah.
What about the
Good for you.
difference, like putting something out with Linkin Park? Obviously, you're not alone in Linkin Park, so that's more of like a group effort, like Chester would have an input.
Yeah, okay.
So with Fort Minor, it's you.
For people with, like, just because I'm at Power, I'll give a little backstory. So I started Linkin Park, it was just me and a friend, like, 15 years ago. Here in LA, I was like, making demos at that point, honestly, on cassette. In my parents' house, in my room. And then fast forward to like, a few years later, we were, we went from playing first on festival shows to headlining them. All of a sudden, we were playing, these shows we could never even imagine, playing. And 2001 or two, I forget it was the biggest, album on the planet. And I'm not saying that as like, first of all, I only say that to first of all put things in context, and also that it wasn't like it freaked me out. You know what I mean? It was a really weird place to be because that didn't even register to me until like years later. And after a couple of records, like so we did that record, we did one more, and then we did Collision Course with Jay-Z. And then that was a moment when I kind of whole like tidal wave of like excitement and momentum kind of crashed down, and we were looking around going like, oh my God, our lives are totally different. I don't even know what to do. We didn't have any perspective, and that was the moment when I kind of looked at it and said, wow, one thing that I'm missing. I feel like the band at that point only did one thing. It's the style of music, and we were known for one style, and that's when I kind of looked back and I said, I grew up on hip hop. I grew up on like bands like we were talking about earlier, like Cypress Hill and Public Enemy and NWA and
Tribe. I bet.
Tribe, yeah. So all this stuff, and I wasn't able to like express that in the Linkin Park stuff. So I started this side project called Fort Minor, and that's that's basically what Fort Minor started out as being, is just me like getting back to my roots.
That's dope.
Back then.
Now, do you specifically write a Fort Minor song, and do you specifically sit down to write a Linkin Park song, or you just write to write, and wherever it goes, it goes?
Yes, the latter part of that.
The second one.
The end part. I just write.
Number two.
Yeah. I write just to write. I mean, and most of the time too, it could be like these days. I could be writing on my phone, my iPad, my laptop, in the studio, wherever. And so, especially when it's like, if you think like I'm on Snapchat at Mike Shinoda Live.
There he is.
And the other day I was snapping like from my seat on the plane. I have my little keyboard and my laptop out, and you can see I've got what must have been like Native Instruments machine running, and I'm making a track there, and like the dude next to me is asleep, and you know what I mean. And they had Wi-Fi in the air, so I was just showing people like, this is what it's like when I'm riding on the plane. This is what it looks like. And I'm not thinking of writing anything in particular. I'm just doing it for fun, most of the time. And most of the time, those things turn into Linkin Park songs.
When you do that transition in the beginning, we went from Linkin Park to Fort Minor, did you take a lot of heat from your fans? Because that's like it's two different worlds,
Yeah,
really.
it was interesting, man. Because I mean, you know, back then I always felt like I snuck in the rap game from the back door because I wasn't.
Pause that.
Okay.
Major pause. eh?
Yo, you can't say nothing around us, man.
Fair enough. But it wasn't the obvious, you know, route. Like I had always like dreamed as a kid of being a rapper. I grew up in the San Fernando Valley.
My man, 818.
818.
Yeah.
I grew up.
What high school did you go to?
I moved right before I would have gone to Taft.
Oh, okay.
So that's where I lived, and my mom saw like the kids who were getting bussed in from like I think it was West LA. They were getting bussed in from downtown, and they were getting off the bus. They were wearing colors, and they're jumping the fence and going out, and then they wouldn't go to school, and they come back again on the bus and go home.
Right.
And my mom was like, "Oh, we got to move. Like we can't. You know, he's almost a teenager now.
Yep.
I can't have him like getting mixed up in this stuff, and especially because I was actually like going in that direction. Like my friends were getting worse and worse.
Really?
You know what I mean?
Were you a badass kid though?
No, I wasn't. I got good grades and all that. I just it wasn't like some parents will want to blame it on the rap music too. It's funny,
Right.
Of course.
but it wasn't like
Rap.
that. It wasn't like that. It was more like I was. It was my friends. Like we were just, you know, a year. I remember like a year or 2 years after I moved out of the valley, we moved up to Agora Hills, and after I moved out of the valley. My friends were getting like their jewelry stolen at the basketball courts. After
wow.
they get
Great,
robbed
Jordans are getting stolen.
at gunpoint or knives and stuff. And it was like one of those things where I once that started happening, I went, wow, my mom is actually like a she has like a crystal ball. Like, you know what I mean? Like, thank God that wasn't me.
Thank God,
Right?
yeah, man.
So I moved up there, but the tough part about it at that time was that, you know, it was like it wasn't as mixed as it is now, and both culturally but also in the music. I would like, I remember there was a time when we would run in PE, we would run a mile, and they let you bring your headphones. And everybody was listening to different things. I was listening to hip hop.
Yeah.
And at the end, everybody's like, you know, out of breath, like, oh, what are you listening to? What are you listening to? And I tell them what I listen. And at the time, it was like Public Enemy and Boogie Down Productions and stuff like that.
Yes.
And they were like, what?
What is
They
that?
didn't even know what that was. They
Yeah.
never even heard of Public Enemy. And they were listening to like, you know, pop and rock stuff.
Sure.
And I was like this weirdo. You know what I mean?
Listening to rap music.
Yeah. And now when you ask somebody like, what do you listen to? Everybody says, oh, everything.
Of course, yes.
When I was growing up, there was no everything. It was only one. I listened to this.
Yeah.
Real specific.
Do you have a specific line in your head from one of those classic hip hop songs?
I don't know why I thought of this just now, but maybe it's because we were kind of talking about NWA and whatever. But they sampled that. They sampled the KRS One line. It's not about a salary. It's all about reality.
Yep.
And I was really related to that because I felt like it was NWA, right? So and they were really like defending a point of view, saying like, yeah, we're talking about all this like dark stuff and heavy stuff, and they're, you know, glorifying it or exaggerating it or whatever. But
Whatever it was,
you
sure.
Never heard anything like that before then.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that movie, by the way.
I was just gonna
Yeah,
say
you want-
that.
yeah, I wanna
Good
see
movie.
that.
Yeah.
I hope it's not disappointing. Because
Right.
it stands a chance to be maybe disappointing. You know what I mean?
With Q behind it though, because he has like
Cube
so
and Dre?
much.
Yeah,
Cube and
yeah.
Dre like so involved.
It
with
should be authentic as possible,
Did you
right?
see the trailer? Do you see they have a trailer and they have a pre-trailer.
Oh, yeah.
The trailer
Yeah,
has like
yeah.
a pre-trailer that has Dre
Yeah.
and Cube. That has
Yep.
all them.
Yeah. There's
They
a third
released
trailer
that
where you
first.
actually get shot watching it. It's an experience. It's you know, it's virtual.
The full NWA experience.
Yeah. Fort Miners and Linkin Park. Mike Shinoda is here, man.
Yes.
This is crazy. We're talking about movies off the air. Have you seen Dope, the movie?
I have not. I really want to see. I'll probably see it this weekend.
Yeah,
Really good
we've all
movie.
seen it. Really cool movie. That's
cool.
Not necessarily a hood classic,
No.
Yeah, definitely
but
not.
worth watching. Good. And Zoe Kravitz alone is enough reason to watch
And
this movie.
Chanel Iman, she's naked.
Yeah.
Chanel
she's
Iman,
so
that's right.
hot. I
She's
mean-
naked.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
man,
great.
it's crazy. Is it
Except
weird?
Rocky
Have you met
School.
Lenny Kravitz? Would it be weird to like?
I've got a great Lenny Kravitz. It's not even about him per se, but it is about him. The very
Share
first
with us,
time,
Mike.
The very first time we played the MTV VMAs.
Yeah.
So we're so excited. We're there. It's our first like big award show. We got all dressed up. We looked like idiots. We rented this like limo. Again, looked like idiots.
The typical Hollywood.
Just
like
terrible. We were. I mean, part of it was like we don't know what we're supposed to do, and
Yeah.
we were taking advantage of it, thinking like, well, let's have fun. You know, let's.
That's it, yeah.
It's a little bit. It was a little bit ironic. It was a little bit ridiculous. Like we knew it.
Well, you didn't show up in Halloween costume, so you're fine.
No. Well, and to a certain extent, every day was Halloween with us. So we show up to the thing. We get out of the car. It's backstage.
Yes.
Okay. And you got to get your passes, your credentials, and all that stuff, and then you come around to the front to the red carpet. So we get out. We're doing our thing, and we were all like basically on this like carpet to go over to the VIP area, and these production people walk over, and we were all like hyped on ourselves, like we made it, we're here. Yeah. These people would come over, they're like, excuse us, could you move, please? They moved us, all of us.
It's very humbling,
there's
right?
6 of us in the band, and there was like 10 other people with us. They moved the whole crew to the side. They said, you guys need to move because Lenny Kravitz is here. And they walked him in.
Yeah, right.
Damn, Lenny.
So bad.
Son by Lenny.
It
happens.
Thanks a lot, Lenny.
But yes,
it wasn't his fault.
you should watch Dope the movie. You should watch
I'm
it.
excited
It's really
about it. I am excited about it.
You're into hip hop. There's a lot of '90s hip hop influence in the
soundtrack.
movie. It's dope, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah. What do you do to enjoy the fruits of your labor, Mike Shinoda?
Well, among other
You seem
things,
like a well-adjusted guy. I'm sure you are. You have a family, and you've been with the same woman for so long, and and in this industry, in this business, in this world, it's insane.
Yeah.
How do you get to that level and not go crazy?
Well, I always said that for us, it was that we never looked at it like I was not in this to be famous. I wasn't in this to get attention. In fact, it's funny, with the Fort Minor project in particular, if you were to look back and see any of those old videos or live shows or whatever, like I wasn't even entirely comfortable being out there on the stage on my own by myself.
You never really
'Cause you
looked
used
at the
to band.
camera at first,
didn't
right?
I felt like because I was in it because I love to make music. I was
Right.
in it because if I had to pay to do it, meaning like, oh, in order to play music, you've got to buy instruments, you got to buy gear, you got to buy blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
and you're never going to make any money. Like, I was doing that anyway. So I was paying money to play music, right? As opposed to like, oh, I'm going to get in this so that I can get rich, so that I can get famous. So when it happened and it was like, oh, this actually like worked. It was like you won the lottery.
Yeah.
I was looking at it like, wow, how lucky am I to be able to do what I would be doing anyway, what I love to do, and actually make a living doing it. So at the end of the day, like there are, I feel like I can go to those award shows, I can go to those things, and I look around and there's people who are there for all different types of motivations, right? Like some people, like number one might be like getting a lot of girls.
Got it. Yeah.
Number one might be like being famous and having people give them attention. That feels good.
Walking into Chipotle and getting a free chicken bowl. You know what I mean? That's when you know you've made it.
That's a win. That's a win right there.
That's a win.
Easy win. That's the best kind of win there is.
I'd be happy in life with that.
But how do you treat yourself?
That is a big, that might be number 2 for me.
Yeah?
Chipotle?
Yeah, free movie tickets, free Chipotle,
food, right?
Free anything, right?
That's a big, that's a big.
But at any point, did you say, okay, I'm treating myself. I'm getting the Benz. I'm getting a big house. I'm getting, I'm getting tatted. I'm getting these crazy toys.
Yeah, for me, I think the places where I usually like splurged or whatever, I usually put it back into music or art or something.
That's
like that.
great, man.
Like, and comfort too. Like, I went on some, you go on a nice vacation, take a break from it all and all that.
Yeah.
There's gotta be a little rapper side in you that just spends something on something stupid.
I know.
Like some bling bling.
The rapper side of me wants to buy a chain, right?
Hey, if you look back at those Fort Minor photos, that was at a point when we had just come off the tidal wave, right? So there were some photos of some jewelry and all that.
You're bling bling a little
I had a
bit.
moment.
Yeah, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
No, I'll shout out those little all white. That I think Kanye was the first to wear one. The all white Chanel watches with the diamonds all around.
Yes.
them.
There you go.
I did get one of those.
Where's it at now? Can I have it?
Sure. Yeah.
You're not wearing it.
You're not wearing it. Let me have it, man.
Wear it, bro. Come on.
Hell yeah, man.
But I had a moment with that, and it's like I grew out of it. That's bottom line is like I did that for a second, and it was kind of like I looked at it in retrospect and thought like, well, that was like kind of worthless. Like, why
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah.
At least you had fun.
Honestly, like I feel like that stuff it's all temporary. It comes and goes so fast, and all those little things are like little fads and whatever. Like for me, I want to do stuff that means something. I want to do something that has a more of a lasting influence or a lasting impact. I look back at when I'm older and say, oh, that was actually a good idea. That was cool. That was part of that. Like doing at that same time, we did a Grammy performance with Jay and
cool.
Paul McCartney. And that was an incredible, and we put that together.
Yeah.
Like that was our idea. We were like, oh, that's cool because the whole album we did with Jay was a mashup album, and mashup started with really the Danger Mouse record where they mashed up Jay and the Beatles.
Yes, I remember that.
Okay, so that was the beginning of mashups. Like, let's put the punctuation. Let's end mashups. That was the beginning of it. We're going to end it on stage at the Grammys. We'll bring Paul out if he'll do it. And we hit him up. Management tracked down his manager or whatever, and he was immediately turned around and said yes.
Yes, and that's exactly what happened.
Amazing. And we were like, oh shit, what do we do now? Like,
right.
Yes.
How do we? Yeah,
He
exactly.
actually agreed to it.
But that's
get on
something-
stage and do it.
That's something that they can't take away. You played with a Beatle,
Yeah.
and your
Dude.
kids will love
Crazy.
Beatles music,
It's
and things like
crazy.
that, and that will never go away.
It was
But
crazy.
that's also that new artist that Kanye discovered.
That's right. That's right. Local guy, Paul McCartney.
New cat.
Mike discovered him first. I wanted to,
Him and Eminem.
yeah, exactly. I wanted to ask you about the fans because you play Fort Minor shows and then you play Linkin Park shows.
Yeah.
Where do you see the crazier fans?
Oh, well, it's really different. I mean, we haven't, first of all, I haven't done a Fort Minor show in a long time. And I'm actually since, with the release of this song, it's actually not an album, it's just the one song.
Yep.
I'm going to do an exclusive show in LA.
Dope.
We're just releasing the information now. I don't know if it's out, but I'm at Mike Shinoda on Twitter.
I believe the 29th.
You've already
yes,
seen it.
I have
So
seen
it is out.
June 29th.
Things are coming out so
Yes.
quickly. I don't know what's out and what's not. So the 29th,
Yeah.
I'm playing the Exchange in LA. It's the
Dope.
only U.S. show I have announced, and I don't honestly plan to do a lot of them.
That's awesome.
So it's a real special event,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's I don't know, the fans are. They're so crazy sometimes. Like, we can't even put up like a test site of a website, or like we code all this stuff and hide it and put passwords on it, and they hack all of it and they get in there anyway.
Yeah.
It's really.
You don't want nobody to hear it. Put it on MySpace. No one's checking for it, bro.
What's my face?
Nobody's on MySpace.
It'll be safe there.
This
It'll be
song
safe
has been
there.
on MySpace for 2 years. Nobody found it.
As a musician, how do you feel about the streaming services like Tidal and Apple and all that?
Yeah, we're deep into that conversation. Obviously, just not only because of that Linkin Park, has a considerable fan base that streams music. Our fan base, just so you guys, to put it in perspective, most of our fan base is outside the U.S. So we're much more popular in China and Russia and Japan and Brazil and so on. And that's, Spotify, for example, is huge out there. Apple is huge in all those territories as well. And when they, now that tech has gone kind of the way that it's been going, where I think media, like things like YouTube, videos, streaming music, all that stuff is the lines are all starting to blur. And so we actually started a VC fund to get involved on the investment side in tech. And because of that, we're going on tech shows and doing things like that, talking about it, because we love it. First of all, and we're I want to be like I'm thrilled to be able to have like conversations with some of those folks who are so smart, and can help. Like, we can brainstorm like what is the future of all this stuff. But yeah, that streaming stuff I think it is like, there's room for it all. I think you can't say Apple's going to fail at streaming. Apple's Apple.
Yeah.
And they're not going to fail at anything.
No way. No way.
No, and they've got that. By the way, I think two of the most exciting things that they got going on is they got the Beats Radio 1, that station.
Yeah.
That's solid. And the other thing is that they basically got that with that Apple Connect. They basically turned that music app into like an Instagram meets SoundCloud.
Yeah,
thing.
insane.
It's
yeah.
crazy.
So smart.
It's crazy.
We're talking about Collision Course earlier. Have you and Jay talked recently at all? Seeing if they're making another project together?
That's a good question. No. In fact, even with that launch of that, somebody asked me like, "Oh, did he call you out Tidal?"
For
like,
Tidal too?
Nah,
Yeah.
nah. And I don't even know. I don't
Have you guys
know.
talked since the tour ended?
We talked. We talked a little bit after that. Like, we did some shows. He came to our. He did an appearance with us at Madison Square Garden at one point. We did a couple shows, like one-off things. But yeah, for the most part, I don't know.
Yeah, see, that's why I don't work with Jay-Z. He don't know how to call people back.
You
know
too,
what?
right?
Yeah, I
Right?
hate that.
He'll call you when you
He's
need
changed,
to.
bro.
It's all about Blue Ivy. It's like, dude, I get it. You have a child. Call me back. You know what I mean?
bro.
Hey, Mike, let's get into the new song.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Fort Minor. It's called Welcome.
sir.
Let's get into it. Are you tripping? Are you okay?
I'm good.
Okay.
Get
You
up
want
in
to
it.
talk about it?
Let's get into it.
Let's play it.
Let's do it.
Walk it up, bro.
Let's do it. Yeah, talk to him, man.
So the new song, "Welcome." Jeez, I didn't intend to play. I didn't intend to make the song. Even I just write,
Really?
write, and one day I made this. I wrote this track, and pretty much the whole thing was. I mean, it was like 80% there when I just sat down and did it. And I listened to it and I went, wow, I like this. It doesn't really sound like a Linkin Park song. Like, what happens if I don't make it a Linkin Park song?
Yeah, right.
I hadn't done that in a really long time.
Sure. And there's a fear that you might piss off Linkin Park fans.
There a little bit. I think more so I didn't want to let the guys down. Like, I know that when they heard it, they'd like it, and they'd be like, "Oh, why can't we have this song? You know, we want it on the record."
It's like, man, can I live, man?
Hey. Well, and you know what? In our group, like, everything is kind of a democracy.
Yeah.
It's like, actually, we call it, it's actually a meritocracy, meaning whoever's, whatever the best idea is, that's the one that wins. Oh. So in other words, even if I come up with 10 ideas and you come up with one, and then we listen to them all, and out of the 11, like, yours is actually the best idea, I will actually vote for your thing. Like, we have to be able to leave ego at the door and say,
man, that's fair.
My stuff is not, my idea.
It's honorable. That's 100,
is not
man.
the best thing. So that's kind of how we work. And for me to come in and say, hey, this is not even like on the table, that's the tough conversation. And I had to really think that over. Like, is that the right way to approach this? Am I just being a jerk or whatever?
Right.
And everybody, like, once I kind of got there and I played it for them and everything and told them how I was feeling about it, they were real supportive of it, and they've been cool ever since. In fact, like, if you notice, like on social media and stuff, we've been putting, we've had the full support of like the Linkin Park social media on the Fort Minor stuff, just as a sign of, like, the band is backing it to a large extent.
Yes.
And by the way, too, if you come to a Linkin Park show, I have there's like a little Fort Minor section in the show. Like, I do my own. Joe's got a section for he's like a DJ section. I've got a section in there for Fort Minor. So that's just how we treat things.
What's the go-to song?
At the show?
Yeah, what's your go-to?
We did remember the name. We did remember the name up until now.
That's awesome.
And I think we'll probably either replace it or just kind of split it.
Video
if you guys haven't got a chance, people listening, go check out the video. This will inevitably be the first time you've ever seen a video in 360. Here's how that works.
Okay, yeah. Talk to us about that.
It takes a special kind of filming to get it done. It's basically virtual reality. So what you'll do is, if you're on your phone, you watch the video inside your YouTube app. Okay. And when you hold your phone up and you move your phone around, you're going to be inside the world that the video is in. You'll see what I mean.
What?
There's a skateboarder, he goes by from your right to your left. You follow him with your phone. You can watch him go around you. I'm performing in the video. You move with me.
That's nuts.
So if you do that with your phone, you're going to get that experience. If you do it on your desktop, do it inside the Chrome browser, and you can click and drag and move around it.
That is so
but the
cool.
phone is
fancy.
where it's at. Like, you got to see it in the phone.
Got to watch it on your
That is
phone.
awesome.
That is very
Use it
cool.
on your phone.
What
Hell
beach is that at? Is that Venice Beach?
That was in Venice. Yeah, in Venice, on the boardwalk in Venice.
Damn.
Awesome video.
15-year anniversary for Linkin Park. Anything special for the fans coming up? Maybe some deluxe edition things that maybe you didn't release before?
We did so much with Hybrid Theory over the years that we didn't really want to do any more rehash stuff. There'll be some. We'll do some stuff though. We'll do some exciting stuff. I don't know exactly what it'll be, but I always tell people, if you're not following us on social media, we're on Facebook, it's everything's Linkin Park. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The only one that's different is now Snapchat is Linkin Park Live. And I'm Mike Shinoda Live. The rest of them, you can find us pretty easily. And there's always stuff going on with the band. So
very cool.
That's
when we get
awesome.
more info on that, we'll put it out there. But for now, it's just all about Fort Minor.
Hey, Mike, we can talk to you all day, dude. Thank you so much for coming through, man. We appreciate it. Thank you, man.
Congrats.
Fort Minor, Linkin Park, Mike Shinoda.
Hey!
It's the all-new Cruz Show, Power 106. Thanks, man.
Timberland, best then, better now. Get yourself a pair at Robert Wayne Footwear.